Hello, we're going to learn about sweep cut today. So we're going to build a tennis ball together and a holder. So we're going to start with the tennis ball on the front plane. I go ahead and sketch. So because the tennis ball is a revolve, we start with the center line. And we're going to measure this for 4-inch. And we'll be using our center point arc. So under the arc tools, you can find center point arc, meaning you know where the center of your arc is. So I'm going to click my center here. The first click is the start. The second click is the end. So here we have our arc, and I'm going to measure for 2.7, that would be the diameter of the tennis ball in inch. And because we're measuring a radius, so we're just going to write divided by 2. And the SolidWorks will automatically figure this out. So as you can see, this is the size. I'm just gonna grab the top and click it on here. So this turns black. And I'm going to close the form. So for the base, I feel like I don't have enough space. I might just change this to 5-inch. So it shifts the rest of it up. So we have enough room to create a base. We're going to use a spiral spring with taper to hold this ball in place. Right now that we have our form, we're just going to revolve this around the center line. It's already chosen. Let's check. All right. Now that we have this, this is our base. We need to come in and create a groove, the tennis ball groove that looks like an 8 that wraps around. So because this form is curved, we can't sketch anything on there. So to basically come in and create that groove that kind of goes this way, well, a bit harder to draw in 3D. We're gonna actually create a plane on the outside and use a slot form and basically wrap that around the form. So we go ahead and start with a new plane. This plane has to be outside of our shape. So I'm going to press plane, and as a reference, I'm going to open up and look at the planes. Either the front or the right plane will do. So I'm going to use the front plane, grab it, and let's see, I can't pull this out. So I'm putting 2-inch. As long as it falls outside of the form, we are okay. Now we'll use this to sketch. I need to find out where is the center point of this form. To do so, I'll use a center line and go from top to bottom. As soon as I come to the edge, you can see that all the sides show, even the center shows, but you need to have a line to be able to click to. Next, we're gonna use our straight slot form, which is a pill shape. And I'm gonna go over, hover over the middle point until I see the midpoint, and use a horizontal line to stretch it out, and click one more time for the radius. We'll measure this. The top would be 2.5 and the radius will be 1-inch. All right. Now that we have this form, we're going to use the sketch and basically project that form on that surface. To do this, we'll go under Insert, Curve, and find a split line. So Insert, Curve, and Split Line. When you get here, there are 3 options. You can do Silhouette, Projection, and Intersection. Usually projection is a default choice. First question is, what sketch or line would you like to project? Second one is on what surface. So for the first option, we pick our sketch. For the second option, we pick our sphere. So now it will lay this on top of that. And press check, and you can see how now it split that face into two pieces. I'm gonna hide this plane so it doesn't bother me by clicking this eye. So now we just have this ball. So I want to use this pad to create a groove. As you can see, it's segmented. So if I would come and use a sweep cut with a circular pattern or circular profile and pick it, it would only pick a segment of it. So I can't pick more than a segment, right? To actually make this into one sketch, we're going to use a 3D sketch, select all of these and convert them into a 3D sketch. So I'll come out of this tool, go ahead and insert 3D sketch. And here, all we're doing is selecting this line by holding shift, we add to it. So we're going to go all around and pick this whole thing. Once we have it selected, we go up on the top, convert entity, and it creates a full sketch. Now finish and come out. Now this time, we're going to go back to the sweep cut and pick circular profile. Here, again, if I pick an edge, it will not work. So for this, we're going to open up the edge of the part file and pick from the menu. Pick the 3D sketch. So now you can see it's cutting through all the way. It's a 0.1 cut. Looks good. I'm going to press check and kind of check this out. It needs a bit of a fillet because it looks very sharp. So once I press fillet, the fastest way would be to pick the face inside because it touches both edges. And then it has a 0.1 fillet. It might be too large, so I'll just go back and make it a 0.05 fillet. 0.05. So that's about half. That looks better. I think I hit everything by mistake. Here we go. Now we have our tennis ball form. I can go ahead and add a color right now just so you guys can see. I'm going to go to the right side to the appearances. Under that, there is materials. So under plastic, I can find probably like a yellow. So once you drop the color on, there's face, feature, body, and whole part. I'm going to just do the face because we have a white line in the middle. And for the middle part, let's see if I can find a low gloss. Here we go, soft. And here, if I pick a face, it only picks that face. But if I pick a feature, it picks the groove. If I pick the body, it actually does everything under the other faces as well. So it also does the fillets. All right, so now we have our tennis ball. We're gonna create a base for it. If I look at my top plane, it's still sitting here. So I'm going to create a base here, a circular base, to use the edge to create a spiral spring that's tapering open. So we'll do a sketch and use a circle to measure it for 2 inches. Actually, maybe, yeah. Let's try a 2.5. That's better. Now I'm going to extrude this with a slight draft. So 1/2 inch extrusion. And we'll add a little bit of a draft so it kind of looks like a base that has a more stable standing. So maybe just a 20-degree draft. And press check. All right. So the reason we built this is to use actually the edge to create our base for our spiral. We're going to go on top of here, do a new sketch, and while it's selected, we'll use the offset entity. So it's basically picking that edge to offset from. We want to go on the inside, we're going to check reverse, and we're going to change the number to 0.15. So it goes slightly more because when we create our sweep, that's going to be in the middle of it. So we need a little bit of room to the fillet and a little bit of room for the sweep. We can even do more, can even do 0.2, but I think 0.15 we'll just do. Now that we have our circle, while we are in the sketch, we're going to go under Insert, Curve, and Helix Spiral. You can see it shows up as if pulls up a spring out of that circle. Circle is, this is dimensioned either by pitch or height. So I'm going to take my pitch to 1. Pitch is spacing between one revolution to another one. And we count number of rotation, number of revolution. So I'm going to keep going up until it feels like it's going to wrap around the ball. As you can see, it's going inside. So we want to use the taper helix. So make sure you have the taper helix checked. And I'm going to go up in the number until it feels like this ball can sit in. I'm trying to leave a little bit of a gap. So maybe 10° will now look better. So when we come in and sweep, there will be a thickness here that the ball can sit on that thickness. All right, that looks good. That looks like it'll be grabbing. And we have 3 revolutions. Press check. So this is just our path for our sweep. Now we go to the feature and use our sweep, circular profile. And this is a 0.1. I should go to 0.15, slightly thicker, give it more emphasis. I can go back and change the degree slightly so it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall. Even if it does, it will stop somewhere here because this is starting to get smaller and smaller. So one thing with the sweep to pay attention to, this end looks very funky. We're gonna go under options and select align with end face. Let's check. Now we have this nicely. We're gonna come back with fillets. Fillet these for 0.05. We have 2 options for this, either a fillet or I'm going to show you guys the dome feature under insert, feature dome. This takes a surface and kind of domes it up. So if I pick this, you can see it's doming this up. I'm going to use my radius, which is 1.5 divided by 2, so it's 0.075, I think. That looks like a very smooth tangent curvature. Let's check. All right. Now, if I want to come back to my helix and edit that degree, I can come make it 9 and check again. Too much, right? This goes on the inside. So when I go back, maybe, I wonder if we can do 9.5. Let's try that. This is perfect. It looks like it's gripping it. And it will probably come lower still. So now we'll just color the outside and we'll be done with this lesson. I'm using shift and my arrow keys to do 90° rotation to kind of examine. And here we go. Just add a low color, maybe, let's see, maybe a blue. There we go. All right. Here's a nice 3/4 view, probably That side would be nicer. I like this view better so we can see actual the two curvature in there. All right. We have two solid bodies. We have a revolve. We learned the split line. Using a split line for our guide curve. For our guide path for the sweep cuts. Using a circle to create a helix and use that as a path to make a sweep and doming at the end. Okay, thank you for listening.